Welcome, folks, to the International Tennis Hall of Fame. I'm Ed Habershaw, and I'm joined by Paul Cardoza, Dr. Paul Cardoza, who founded this event back in 1984. And he's here at the hallowed grounds of the Tennis Hall of Fame. We'll go wide here. Perfect. And look at this.
Yes. Oh my, how professional. This is beautiful.
Welcome, Paul.
And
You started this in 1984, and we are 40 years later. How about that?
hard to believe. It really is. It's so satisfying to look back on the way it started. Very simple. Of course, we had the grass courts, and we knew the director at the time, Mark Stenning, and I was coaching the women's tennis team at the time, and it all just happened at the end of the season where they were closing down. And I said, can I bring our players over just for a quick little match? And the answer was yes. And why don't we invite some other Rhode Island schools? And we did.
That included the Division I's, Providence Colleges, University of Rhode Island, Brown University.
And this is what's so great about it. It was like, oh, competition. My gosh, URI's going to... No, it's about playing tennis on the grass courts. So at the time, we didn't try to match up anybody.
Right.
And Salve actually was just developing. Everyone loved it. They came here. And we had often, as the years went by, in the fall, we're apt to get these kind of days.
Yes.
Evenings. So I just, wind it up and let it go. And here it is. And look at this. I'm so satisfied.
We are so indebted to you for getting this started. Obviously, as you said, along with Mark Stenning and our gracious hosts at the Tennis Hall of Fame for allowing us to play on these courts. I was more than fortunate to inherit the program back in 1992. Unfortunately, my first year with the program, Paul, it rained. But over the last 32 years, we've only had 2 rainouts, 1992 and again in late 2000s, like 09, 10. But we've had it nonstop since 1984.
Excellent. And I want to say right now, I thank you so much for continuing the tradition, not only as tennis coach, but as historian, director. You know the history, and it's so great to have you here, because when I walked downstairs minutes ago, I mentioned to someone casually, geez, I started this a little while ago, and who's keeping it going? And I said, well, we have some good people in place. And that continuity is so hard to do, and thank you. Thank you. And
well,
you know the history.
It's been my pleasure. I borrowed a quote from Allison Danzig to adorn our T-shirts that we would give to our competitors.
Okay.
I'm drawing a blank on what it was, but he coined the term Grand Slam, and was a sports writer that was one of the first writers to be inducted into the Tennis Hall of Fame, because he was just passionate about it, and that's what all we're trying to do is grow the sport and promote the sport. And on these grounds is also where court tennis is featured, and that's the origins of tennis. And we're going to switch the cameras. We'll continue with our commentating, but I want to give the folks watching this stream a view of the courts. And we see our photographer, Hoon Kim, who's a member of our men's ice hockey team.
Okay.
He's on hand to shoot some wonderful photos.
Wonderful.
Today we have Bridgewater State, Colby-Sawyer College, Gordon College, Roger Williams University, and the host, Salve Regina University.
Oh my. And I know they're all delighted to be here. They really are.
And what a blessing it is to have such wonderful weather on Thursday, September 12th. And we've got a 3-camera setup for our production, so we'll hand the headsets over to student athletes that want to commentate on their own teammates'
Why not?
play.
Why not?
Paul, what's funny when we've been doing this for the last several years with the streaming setup, the kids will put on their headsets and they'll undoubtedly try out their British accent in commentating. It worked. It worked well for all. It worked best for Ned Batstone when he was here the last 4 years.
All right. Super. Well, I want them all to have fun.
Yes.
And you too.
Thank you for joining us on the pre-broadcast.
How spontaneous and how great.
We'll switch it over to music, and Paul and I will jump back in later on.
And so.
Welcome, everyone. Today we are here to watch some doubles tournaments at the National Hall of Fame, International Hall of Fame, rather. I'm here with my host, Alan. Alan, introduce yourself.
I'm Alan. I'm a senior at Salve Regina University. I'm excited to see how our women's players will turn out in this clash on the grass.
Yeah, we have a variety of schools here today. We have our very own Salve Regina University, along with Gordon College. We also have Roger Williams University. Do you know what else we have?
I guess we'll find out.
Yeah, I'm expecting to have some good match play. We have some very talented people out here today at the courts, and I'm hoping, everything will be nice and smooth for the day.
Better you guys were looking. Just not casual. Wait, my camera's really musky. Hold on.
I think it's
The
catching
lighting's
us.
really bad. It's okay. This is really good.
So here on court one.
Adjust the cameras as you wish. If you want to turn that camera back onto the action, pivot that way.
This way?
No, you were right the first time. That way the cable stays free. So that's the camera.
Oh, are you guys on the broadcast? Oh my god.
So Alan, who do we have here on court one?
So it looks like we have Roger Williams. Not sure who the other team is. What do you say?
Those are the Chargers,
Okay, so we got the Chargers and the Hawks.
and they're about to serve.
Smile again.
That was a beautiful volley. That was an amazing volley from the Chargers team. That was a good match. That was a good match play, right there. How would you analyze that point?
I think they have a good strategy over here. Just making sure you hit wide and trying to finish the playoff strong.
And we have our second serve.
It's just a little bit unfortunate, but here we go.
Yeah, no, that was
Starting to get good.
a good approach shot from Roger Williams University. Honestly, good play from both teams. How about we switch over to court two? Here at court two, we have Salve Regina University along with. Are you able to see what school that is? Is that Bridgewater?
Yeah, I believe it's the Bridgewater Bears.
All right. So here on court two, we have Bridgewater University along with Salve Regina University. And on court three, we have Bridgewater State University along with. I'm unable to see what the next school is. It's court two warming up. Yeah, I believe court two is warming up. All right, so how about we switch over to court one? Where we have the Chargers along with Roger, the Hawks. Charger serve. That was a beautiful ace. Absolutely beautiful ace. That was, that's what tennis is about.
Charges are up. Okay, so Chargers up 1-0.
And the Chargers are displaying, some good play. You can definitely tell they're starting to get a little bit more comfortable here on the courts. I do know it is a little bit rare to play on grass courts these days. Wouldn't you say so?
Yeah, I think they have a good strategy for the courts. Keeping it aggressive and trying to cut the play short. Trying to finish off the play in short amount of rallies.
Yeah, I know you've played on grass. How is it any different?
It's definitely a lot faster than hard court. It's a lot more unpredictable, so I wouldn't blame them for trying to get the point finished soon.
Yeah, no, this is definitely one of those times where it's going to take a little bit of time to be able to acclimate to the surface. And that was a good point from the Hawks down on court 1.
Want them to hear me? Can they hear me now? Hello. It's Cheese here.
And we are back here. We are still on court 1, but how about we make our way down to court 2, where we have, again, Bridgewater State University along with our very own Salve Regina University. Alan, you are, as far as I know, a part of Salve Regina University. How do you feel about, the women's team?
They're an excellent team. They've got plenty of players, all of them high quality. They all been taught very well by Bruce Levine, so I'm excited to see what they have in store for this clash.
Absolutely. And do you know who the players are down there by the courts?
Yeah, so it looks like on the far side of the courts we have Maeve Newton and Kayla Dolan from Salve Regina going against the Bridgewater Bears. And over here on court 2, on the front side of these 3 courts, we have Madigan Murphy and Sadie Rake.
And for those who do not know our players by face, Sadie is the one who is serving currently right now. Let's see how she does. And it is an unfortunate double fault, but that's okay. That's part of the game of tennis. You pick your head up right back. You pick your head right back up, and you have the memory of a goldfish, and you move on. You learn from those mistakes, and we continue.
Good serve from Sadie there. You start to see how unpredictable the bounces can be on grass. So it's important you make sure you get your shots correct and how you want them.
That was some good tennis right there. Honestly, that's that. That's what we practice. That's typically what players try to achieve in doubles. That teamwork, that ability to be able to communicate with each other. And Alan, being one of the few courts here in the United States that are grass courts, how did it feel to play on the grass courts?
It was definitely an experience. Having to play at this very historic site, it's something that you always want to take advantage of.
Salve Regina held it in the rally, but unfortunately we're not able to follow through. Bridgewater State with that point. Oh, and that was an unfortunate slip. But the perseverance of getting back up has to be noted. Honestly, that was some quick reflexes, quick reaction time of, slipping and picking yourself right back up to get right back into the point.
It's great to have that mentality.
Absolutely. And up here on the commentators booth, we have our own Salve Regina University women's tennis player, Rory Schultz. I'm assuming she would like to say a few words.
Hi. Oh, okay, thank you. Hi, Alan. How are you?
Good. How are you doing, Rory?
Oh, I'm good. I'm watching some great tennis right now. Are you enjoying the matches?
Oh, yeah. It's good to see all these teams come out here and, do their best on this particular surface. I know it's not something that they're used to, but I'm excited to see what they have in store for them.
Yeah, we can definitely see that with one of the Bears that just took a slip on the grass court. It's definitely much different than hard court, so it's hard to get used to that. Oh, am I on? Oh, hello. This is Rory from Salve. We're
Right now I'm watching, it seems like I'm watching the Chargers versus the Hawks. And it seems as though the Hawks just won that point. Not exactly sure who's the black background or who's the white background, but hoping we can figure that out soon so we can tell you the score. But looks like the Seahawks versus Gordon just finished up there first. And we can't really tell what's going on the back side of the court, but we know those matches just started recently. So hoping for a good match from everyone out here today. It's a beautiful day to play tennis. No, Alan? Beautiful? Yeah, I'd say. Quite excited. For a lot of these people, it's their first time playing on grass, so definitely a difficult surface to get used to. But even myself, I haven't had much experience on it, so quite nervous. But it's a beautiful day out. Can't complain. Should make for some good tennis.
What are you excited about in terms of playing on the grass?
You know, on the hard court, it bounces a lot. The balls are definitely a lot more excited. But on the grass court, the balls stop a lot more. So it's much more difficult, and you really have to be on your feet. But I'm excited to, keep the energy up throughout the game, because on hard court, I feel like I kind of fall short sometimes, when I'm playing. But on the grass, you got to be in it the whole time. So I'm definitely excited for that. And it's also a lot nicer on your back, on your body, So it's easy to keep going for a long time on the grass. Do you like playing on grass, Alan?
It was an experience. Yeah, I enjoyed playing with a few of the Salve Regina Seahawks yesterday. Yeah. It was interesting to see how different it is compared to hard court or clay. So
yeah,
exciting.
definitely. It's definitely a luxury living here in Newport to be able to play on it. So, and it's great that all these other teams can now play on it. But everyone seems to be faring pretty well so far. Ooh, good get by Sadie from the Seahawks. Madigan on her second serve now.
Okay, so we have another Salve Regina Seahawk from the women's tennis team. Emma, why don't you introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Emma. I'm on the Salve women's team, and I'm a sophomore. It feels so great to be here.
You excited to play here?
I am very excited, yeah.
What are you most excited about?
Well, I'm excited about getting experience with doubles, and I'm also excited to play on the grass court. It's really fun. I honestly like it better than a hard court. But yeah, that's kind of what I'm excited for the match.
What do you think about the competition here that's come out to play at the Hall of Fame?
I think everybody is equally as talented. There's a lot of players that are very tough, but I think everybody has a chance at beating another team. But yeah, it seems like everybody is playing well, and it's a really enjoyable thing to watch.
Yeah, I think the surface makes it so that everyone has relatively an equal chance. It's interesting how as I was saying, it's interesting to see how the different styles of play between different schools and different doubles partners play out.
Oh yeah, 100%. I totally agree with that.
So we are having some pretty good match play here in court one, where the Hawks are, giving a run for the money to the Chargers.
Jose, what do you say? You want to play a game?
Yeah, let's play a game.
All right. I spy with my little eye something green.
Is it the grass?
How'd you know?
I spy with my little eye. Something red.
This tennis bag right next to court one.
How'd you know?
I don't know. Lucky guess, I guess. All right. I spy with my little eye something white.
Is it that coach's uniform by court one?
Good try, but that's not the one I was thinking.
Is it an object or a person?
I'm pretty sure it's an object.
Is it the top of the net?
Nope.
No? Is it the clouds?
Good try, but it's not what I was thinking.
How about you guys at home? What do you spot that's white?
The one I had in mind was Madigan Murphy's shoes.
That's a good pick right there. Honestly, that's an amazing selection. I spy with my little eye something red.
Is it one of the Bears' shoes on the far court?
It is not one of the Bears' shoes in the far court, no.
Is it the cap that coach is wearing on the sideline of court 2?
It is the cap the coach is wearing on sideline 2.
That's awesome.
For the people at home, you can see he's sitting on the bench right there, or on one of the chairs.
It looks like Salve Regina Seahawks are fighting to stay alive.
And you know what? That's what we work on here at Salve Regina University. We work on our mentality to, fight until the match isn't over till it's over.
So it's 5-2. Madigan and Sadie are playing hard.
Now, is Salve Regina the green or white background?
I'm not exactly sure. Let's get back to. Let me get back to you on that.
Thank you.
Because I know it's different for every court, so.
And Alan, being a tennis player, what is going on through your head as you're playing tennis? Try to give us a picture as to what could these players be thinking about right now down in these courts.
Well, as much as tennis is a physical sport, it's definitely also a mental sport because most of the time, of course, you're fighting to stay in the rally, but a lot of times you're fighting your own mind, trying to make sure you stay calm during a rally, stay focused. So, at least for me, every time I, wind up for a shot, I try to prepare myself mentally for where that ball is going to go or how hard I'm going to hit it, where I'm going to hit it on the court. So it's definitely a lot to take in when you're, in a match.
And would you say there is any pressure playing at the International Tennis Hall of Fame today for any of these players down at the courts right now with the expectation of, wanting to perform well? Do you think that would add some of the pressure to their play here today?
I think there is a sense of pressure in every match play that each of our tennis players have. Of course, they're playing at the Hall of Fame, so it's something that's not going to come by every single day. So I'd say that, it's going to be tough to see if they can hang on to their mental strength, not just with the tennis, but because they're playing at one of the most prestigious landmarks of tennis in the world.
No, of course. And, would you say that as a player, obviously it is very important to try and win. Would you say, though, that although winning should be, the priority, they should also take the time to just kind of bask in the moment and just enjoy that they are, in one of the most prestigious facilities in the world?
Yes, of course. Like I said, it is a mental sport, but it's also important to, relax and have fun with it.
Of course, no, and these are the prime years of some of these people's lives, and I think it's important for them to just take a step back and just kind of enjoy what is happening.
Okay, so it looks like the Chargers and the Hawks wrapped up. Looks like the Hawks took the doubles match 6-2.
And it was an intense match. That was a good match. That is cookie cutter tennis right there. That is exactly what you're going to be looking for when you want to watch some tennis.
All right, looks like the Seahawks and the Bears are also done on their match on court 2. How do you think they did?
I think they performed well. They hung in there, and honestly, that's all you can really ask for at the end of the day. As long as you can proudly say that you fought until the very last second, I think you're able to leave that court holding your head up high.
All right, and we'll be back with a short break momentarily.
Welcome back from our little break. So today we have the pleasure of having one of our players that was down at court 2. We have our very own from Salve Regina University, Sadie. Sadie, can you tell us a little bit about the experience that you felt down there at the courts, and what was going through your head as you were playing?
I think it was a really good match. We kind of had to get used to the grass because it's like a slower game. But overall, we played pretty well. We won 6-2 against Bridgewater. So
awesome!
It was a good first match.
Yeah. How did you feel down there?
I felt good. It was hard to get your feet to certain balls, and the ball drops pretty short sometimes. So that was a little bit of a struggle, and we didn't get to warm up a lot of serves. So serves were a little rough.
And are you used to what surface are you mostly used to?
I would say just the hard true.
Hard true?
Yeah.
And what would you say is one of the more significant differences between hard true and the grass courts here today?
I would say that the ball is super slow. Whenever it drops super short, it's hard to get your feet there in time. Mm-hmm. So you just really have to be super patient with the ball and not try to cream it.
All right, and my final question for you, Alan and I, we were discussing how playing at the International Tennis Hall of Fame may add, some prestige and some honor. Like, how does that make you feel?
I definitely get a little bit nervous.
You get a little bit nervous?
I feel so bougie. I love it.
Yeah?
I think it's so fun.
All right, well, thank you so much, Sadie.
Thank you.
And I'm back here with my friend Alan. Down on court 3, we have Stephanie Davis and Caden Pinto, our very own Seahawks from Salve Regina University. Alan, what would you say is their doubles dynamic? Like, if you could describe it.
I think they're a very good duo. I think they understand each other well, and we saw that with their match on Tuesday against Rhode Island College. It was a tough team, but these two Seahawks managed to pull through and get that win in their doubles match.
And if I'm not incorrect, Stephanie Davis and Caden Pinto, they both have an incredible record right now when it comes to their doubles performance. What would you say is that a testament to?
I think they're just excellent individual players as like in their singles matches. And it's good to see that they can put that to good use in their doubles performance as a pair.
And Alan, I understand that you yourself have played some doubles. What would you say is the most important aspect in a doubles performance? If you want to perform well with your doubles partner, what would you say is, the golden ticket to being able to, achieve that sort of excellence within doubles?
Well, as you know, doubles can be tricky. Most players are used to playing singles, but when it comes to doubles, it can get tricky in terms of knowing when to go for the ball, having to communicate. I think the best thing you can do is work on your own game. Making sure that you have the right technique for these doubles drills and matches. I think that's one of the best things you can have. Improving your own game really goes a long way in helping the doubles pair pull through.
And what would you say is like your own personal struggles within like playing doubles?
It's definitely coming down to communication and knowing where to stand on the court. That's always a struggle for everyone who is not specialized in doubles, but with good practice, everyone gets there, and we can see that as Caden and Stephanie play together.
Oh, for sure. And out of your own experiences, how much trust do you have to have within your own doubles partner?
You have to be able to trust them well enough to play their part. Of course, like I said, it comes down to individual components, but being able to trust your partner is something that is something that's required in terms of having to navigate through a doubles match.
Yeah, no, I know you and I personally have played some doubles, and I think I think it's definitely takes some team bonding to be able to build that trust with each other. And it's definitely something that takes time, and I would say one of the main components of doubles is being able to have that team chemistry and being able to communicate with each other effectively, and you can't really do that unless you spend time with your doubles partner.
Yeah, of course. You and I have been playing doubles for quite some time, and although we have had our struggles, we understand each other well, and we have good chemistry on and off the court.
Absolutely, and I think that's what is a good reflection off of Stephanie and Caden, as it's their good chemistry that it helps them, achieve that level of success. And we're back. Alan, the beauty of sports is that if you start young, typically it molds your life. It molds the person that you are. And a lot of people, when they watch sports, they take inspiration from the professionals, the legends, the people who they've grown up with. How important is tennis to your life right now? And on top of that, who would you say is your inspiration for the game?
Yeah, so I only started playing tennis, competitively a couple years ago. I was watching the U.S. Open of 2022, and ever since I saw Carlos Alcaraz win that tournament, he piqued my interest in tennis, and ever since then I decided to, train harder, work hard to end up being on the Salve Regina men's tennis team, and since then, it changed my life.
And on that note, the importance of tennis to your life. How would you say is the importance of tennis, like watching it, to be able to improve your game? Because there are many players who play tennis, but not many who sit down and actually watch a full match.
Yeah, so every tennis tournament that I know of that's being streamed, I make sure I sit down and take mental notes on what is done, especially every time Carlos Alcaraz is out on the court. I make sure I'm, watching and observing every move he's making, just to see how theoretically I can improve my game. And, in my experience, I've seen that it's helped a lot. What college sports and sports in general, they suggest watching film. And I believe that watching a lot of tennis film is equally as beneficial as going on the court and practicing.
And what about Carlos Alcaraz's game? Attracts you to him to be able to claim that he is the person who you are inspired by in the game of tennis.
I think his versatility on the court is something that's one of his major strengths. I believe that as we've seen in Wimbledon and Roland Garros, we've seen him being able to change up his shots, adjusting to the environment, to how his opponents play. I've taken that into account, and I've made sure that not only am I focusing on the fundamentals, but I'm making sure I'm having fun with the court and each match.
And to speak on what our audience at home might be hearing, there is quite a bit of wind here today, and typically, a little bit of wind won't overly affect one's match all that much. But Alan, in your experience, how does the wind affect you when you're playing?
It can definitely be something that's mentally draining. You think that you're going one way and the wind takes it another way. But I think staying strong, staying in the rally, staying mentally focused in each serve or each return, I think that's the most important thing you can do.
Do you yourself implement any specific tactic to try and combat the wind? Because obviously the wind takes the ball wherever it wants to take it. But do you have any specific tips to be able to play with the wind?
Yeah, so I'm sure many people have heard of the techniques on how to adjust to the wind. So if the wind is facing you and it's going against the way you're playing, it's important to stay back because the opponent's strokes will take the wind. The opponent's strokes will take flight a lot longer with the wind, so it's important to stay back and not poaching too much. And on the contrary, if you're playing with the wind, if the wind is going with the strokes of your ball, it's important to get up on the court because it's going to be harder for your opponents to get the ball back over the net. So coming to the net is a good technique to use.
Absolutely. No. And speaking of stroke, what ground stroke would you say is the most difficult one to kind of master? Because we have we have all types of strokes. We have the forehand, the backhand, the volley, the backhand volley. These are all things that obviously take time to be able to develop. What would you say is the one that, typically most players in your experience would struggle with?
Yeah, absolutely. I've seen many players, including myself, struggle with different types of strokes. The usual has to be the backhand. It's important to make sure you're working on that because it can get difficult in terms of mastering the technique. Of course, volleys and forehands are always something to work on, but I believe it's something a little bit more natural. But using both hands on the backhand, I think that's something that you have to adjust to.
And do you have a personal preference when it comes to your backhand? As I know, we've known each other for quite a while, and you have switched back and forth between the one-hander and the two-hander. Do you have a personal preference between either of the two?
I think that the one-hander backhand, I believe that's a lot. It comes a little bit more natural to me. But in terms of reliability, I believe that having two hands on the backhand is overall, a safer option, and it's less confusing and less tedious to learn how to master the technique.
And I don't know if the people at home are able to hear, but there are some people cheering on their teammates, and that'll bring me to my next point. Alan, how would you say your game is affected if you feel, your team backing you, if you feel the people supporting you, cheering you on for any point? And, on that note, elaborate on that, but also how would it feel if, people are kind of rooting against you?
Yeah, so the crowd, obviously, as we see in professional tennis, has an impact. In my experience, having a crowd that is rooting for you it's always a benefit. But when it comes down to important plays in a match, I believe that having a crowd that is in a way against you, I believe that can put me in a headspace where I can make sure I lock in.
Oh, for sure. And that lock-in mentality, does that ever at any point does it take a mental toll on you having to hyper focus for a long period amount of time?
Yeah, it can definitely be mentally draining. Not being able to focus is something that can be detrimental to your game. But as I said before, making sure that you're focusing on each and every one of your shots, I think that's the most important thing. And inevitably, that's what, by definition, locking in means.
No, for sure. And is it in the theme of doubles here? Would you say that the appropriate partner would help you to have that lock-in mentality, or if you don't have like a partner who you completely are familiar or comfortable with per se, would you struggle to reach that point?
Yeah, as we said before, team chemistry plays a role in how we perform in a doubles match. I know from experience, you and I, if we're ever feeling down or mentally drained, we tell each other to lock in, making sure that we stay focused in. I know we trust each other enough to give each other tips or piece of advice on how to navigate through every moment of a match. So I believe that having that partner who you trust to lock you in is important to performing well as a doubles pair.
And Alan, I know you said you have played on the grass court before. If for the people who are being able to see the visuals with what we're looking at right now, the baseline is a little bit worn out. Do you feel any difference in your feet as you are playing on the worn out baseline as compared to the grass filled, the rest of the court?
It is a little bit strange. The grass is worn out, so the ball bounces a little bit differently than you're used to playing on the rest of the court. But being able to adjust to your environment is one of the most beneficial things you can do playing on these grass courts.
Do your feet slip at the baseline?
Yeah, it's more so like the difference in the hard court versus grass. The surface in general is a little bit more slippery. But in terms of the dirt, yeah, it can get difficult to stay in the rally if you're standing all the way back there. But making sure you're staying focused on every shot, even regardless of the bounces or how your feet are feeling under you. I think it's important to, in the sense of performing well.
And Alan, tennis is typically a sport that is known for its individuality when it comes to players. It is a sport that, typically you either play with another person or by yourself. How would you feel is the difference between, we have what I believe is 5 distinctive different schools here today at this doubles tournament. What would you feel is like the main difference when it comes to playing tennis like by yourself and in the capacity of a team?
So tennis is, most people say tennis is a, individual player sport. But it can, in a sense, be a team sport. Of course, you're aiming to win every match on your team, on your starting lineup. And it can get a little difficult when you know, or when it seems like, things aren't going your way. But being able to, stay focused in the long run can really help your team pull through.
And, for sure. All right, and we have the pleasure of being able to speak with another fellow Seahawk, Emma. Emma, introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Emma. I'm on the Salve women's tennis team.
And Emma, you were just out there on the grass, right?
I was.
And how'd it feel?
So it was great at first. I was feeling pretty confident until I fell. But it's okay. It was a good match. It was a good learning experience. It was really fun.
Absolutely. And, what court would you say, what surface are you mostly used to?
I'm used to playing on clay and hard courts because when I was little, I would play on clay courts.
On clay and hard courts. And
Yeah.
what would you say is typically the main difference between playing on those courts and on grass?
Well, hard, you can be more stable.
Yeah.
While on the grass, you can slip and slide way more often.
Yeah.
So it's a huge change regarding that. But otherwise, I would say the ball and how it bounces, it's different on both courts.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Did you, what was your mentality as you were down there?
Oh my gosh, my mentality, I was just there to have fun. I was there for a learning experience. I was there to practice. But to be honest, my mentality was if I win, I win. If I lose, I lose.
Okay.
It's, it's for practice.
That's a good mentality.
Yeah.
And, was there any pressure behind, playing at the International Tennis Hall of Fame?
I don't think so. I mean, we are in Newport, it's our International Tennis Hall of Fame. But I didn't really feel any pressure. It was just, I was having fun and was motivated. So, yeah.
Was this, would you say this is this is an honor to be able to play here?
Yeah, it's totally an honor. It's probably one of the most unique experiences that I've ever had. But yeah, it was really fun and I really enjoyed it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And, if you could rate it through 1 to 10, how would you rate it?
A 7, only because I lost.
All right, that's fine.
But yeah, it was something, yeah.
All right, well, thank you for the interview, Emma.
Yeah, of course.